Hi guys, Thabiso Ngcobo here, play on the Sunshine Tour, and yeah, this is my story. Hi, I'm Thabiso Ngcobo, Sunshine Tour player. I'm 30 years old and I'm from Durban, KZN, but basically grew up in Pretoria most of my life. And yeah, I've been on Sunshine Tour for now, give or take 5-6 years. Turned pro in 2018. Got my card through the Big Easy in 2019 and managed to get onto Sunshine Tour.
Okay, awesome.
All good.
Okay, sweet. Thanks, Thabi. Yeah. So we're going to start here with the first section, sort of the journey to Sunshine Tour. You spoke how you got your card in Big Easy and all of that. I want to start further back. Let's ask. I want to see, how did you get started in golf, and then from there, when did you decide to chase it professionally?
Okay. So I started in high school in Cornwall Hill. I played just for like the golf team, but it was just more of a, I think they call it extra curriculum sport or whatever.
Yeah, just as an add-on.
Yeah. So I was mainly playing soccer, and then kind of just saw, like, my dream actually was just to be a professional soccer player.
Okay. So I always wanted to be a professional sportsman.
Yeah. I always knew I wanted to be involved in sport at the end of the day. When I saw soccer wasn't really working out here, because I think at the time just needed to go overseas to make it work, because it was a bit tough with how soccer works in South Africa. I think golf was the next thing. So my dad actually got me to play golf because he played golf. I took an interest into it, and then I went to an academy called Players Academy at the time, which was in grade 10. And then just kind of started there with the whole academy structure.
Okay,
and
so from there you started to see the storyline of you want to make it professional.
Yeah, so I mean, it was literally 6 o'clock starting.
Is that the one that was at Woodmead?
No, so it was here in Centurion.
Oh, okay.
It was by Graham Francis at the time.
Okay, yes.
So it was kind of just a direct competitor to HPC at the time, Tux. So there were a couple of guys that was part of it. So someone like JC Ritchie was there.
Some
Jason
big
Smith.
Names
So
as well,
there's a few guys that have also made it now professionally that were there. And then I got my provincial colours for under 18, under 23, and I was just playing quite well on the junior circuit, and I think that's when I realised that I could do golf as a career.
That's awesome. You mentioned it as part of your little intro, going through Big Easy and then onto Sunshine. Can you tell me, what was your route or your avenue you took to qualify for Sunshine Tour? Start me out at the bottom.
So I realized, I'd played so many provincial tournaments at the time, and I think, just at the time there was something called IGT. So I think that was a good avenue to go through, because it had a pathway to Big Easy and Sunshine Tour at the time. Big Easy was a bit smaller back then compared to what it is now. So it was
definitely
seen more as like a winter tour. But if you played well, I think IGT was a good stepping stone, because you had guys like that were from Sunshine Tour that would play those tournaments. So you'd be more exposed to what you need to do to make it on tour and stuff like that. So I played IGT for 2 years. I think it was 2018, 2019.
Okay.
And then kind of learned a lot my first year in 2018 from the different professionals playing at the time on what I can do better, what I am struggling with, and just working on the weaknesses to get your game towards a professional level, I could say. So and then from 2019 played quite well, and they were giving out forgot the number, but they were giving out cards if you finish a certain position in order of merit.
Yeah, sort of like top 5, top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, so I finished in that and was able to get my Sunshine Tour card that way.
Okay.
So yeah, there's different ways to get on tour, obviously,
Yeah.
with Q
Yeah,
School
Q
being
School,
the
yeah.
main one.
No, but it's nice to know that you started in the lower level tours in South Africa and you managed to gain your card through that. I mean, we're a little less fortunate now. I mean, you have to still go through qualifying to get your Big Easy now. You know, they
Yeah.
don't do any sub tours below Big Easy that get Sunshine, but you know, it's nice to hear that that's the route you went.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, so were there any big turning points or challenges that made you question if you'd make it on that journey?
I think almost every golfer goes through that part. I mean, it's not always going to be smooth sailing or
Yeah.
you're on top of the world all the time. But I think I always compare golf to life as well. I think, you know, you are going to have some good moments and you are going to have some bad moments. I just think for you to, for you to not be too affected by it, I'd say. I would say you just find a way to manage the bad moments better
Yeah.
and not get too stuck on it for too long. Because a lot of people,
Yeah.
you know, myself included, you get stuck on, you know, let's say you're not playing well, so
Yeah.
now you're not making money to survive and all that.
Yeah.
So it's all this built up pressure. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, for me, what was a tough one was COVID at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that would have been your first real year on tour.
tour,
as well,
yeah.
so
So I had a lot of good momentum going into like my rookie year, and then COVID happened,
you just killed it
and
all.
then it just killed it all.
Wow.
And so I was kind of upset that it had happened,
Yeah.
but I think I just stayed on it a bit too long. And you know, I think when I had been playing, or that gap where it was like you at home, you
Yeah.
know, I had a net where I was hitting balls into. I had this brilliant idea at the time. They were like, okay, let me work on my swing. So I tried changing a few things in my swing, but
Yeah.
I think that was kind of my downfall in the early years of tour.
Yeah, you
Good.
maybe went looking for a bit.
Yeah, so it was like I was looking for something that I didn't really need to look for,
Yeah.
because you know there's that famous saying that, you know, just swing your swing at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So
Yep.
I think a lot of guys that do get on tour in their first year, they see what professionals are doing, so it's like, oh, okay, I need to swing it like them
Yeah.
and all that, not knowing that their swing is actually good enough to compete already.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just
you get the
more-
likes of like Jim Furyk. I mean, if he had to change that swing, what difference would that have made in his career?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's actually very interesting to hear. This is sort of going to lead on to our second part. But you know, what does a typical week on tour look like? So I mean, you know, what does your practice look like? Your traveling, your recovery, and obviously the competition as well. We'll get into further details in the next section on that. But for now, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean now because it's summer, so tournaments are now starting on Thursdays. The traditional way of starting
So
Thursday
it's a
to Sunday.
4-day event.
Yeah,
72
so
holes.
so most of the time, I mean, you travel the Monday or the Sunday prior to it. So yeah, just getting to the course on a Monday, then it's either 18 holes or 9 holes, depending on how you're feeling and all that. And then yeah, just really just kind of just having a look at the course, getting a feel for the course, seeing how the greens react, the spots to miss it, spots to hit it on, and all that, because you know that becomes very important information down the line.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, what my practice looks like is just either 18 holes or 9 holes on the Monday, and then the Tuesday another 9, and then Wednesday I try not to play the day before tournament. Kind of just do more practice drills.
I assume that's got more to do with the recovery side. Obviously, you don't want to strain yourself.
Yeah, so
especially, you know, South Africa can get quite hot, so I can understand that a lot.
Yeah, so it gets quite hot. So yeah, the Wednesday just doing drills, taking it easy, just getting your mindset right for the week, and then yeah, just taking it from there.
Okay, and then sort of as the weekend progresses, you know, your recovery and stuff, is there anything you do in particular?
So a lot of rehydrate.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's the most common one. I think I've tried to incorporate a bit more like ice baths as well. I think, you know, golf, they always say golf's not so physically taxing,
I
but
don't know. I disagree with that. It can be quite taxing.
but
on the body.
it's quite taxing. Like, for example, we had a tournament just recently now at
Yes.
Euphoria,
Yes, yeah.
Limpopo Championship.
That is quite the course to walk. I
So
think.
that's quite a brutal
I
walk.
think it's, if I remember, it's like 14-kilometer walk or something, and that's from, and I mean,
Yeah.
green to tee is one of the hardest
Hardest
walks
walks.
that you'll do.
Yeah, and it was like 31, 32 degrees.
Yeah.
So it was
No,
quite humid as well.
I will say I was in Limpopo that weekend, so I know how hot it was.
Yeah.
And obviously that one you guys had a bit more problems with the storms on having to come on and off as well. So
Yeah. So
in that case, like, what is your thought process? What's your routine when it's like that,
stop.
when you have to come off? Are you someone you like to just sit on your phone and almost shut off, or is it, you know, you I know some guys like to go stretch in the meantime just to keep themselves active, or something like that?
Yeah, I'd say, like, you know, it depends on the waiting time if you are going to go out or not. So, but I think the first 30 minutes for me, because they only maybe update you after an hour,
Yeah.
I just either go sit and have something to eat, or just kind of shut off completely.
Okay, so it's almost like a refuel and just shut down, just let the mind relax. And
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. A lot of people try to make it too complicated, so
Yeah,
it's nice to know that
Yeah,
on the tour, even then, the guys are relaxed.
Yeah.
Open a little TikTok or something.
Yeah, there we go. That's the way to go.
Yeah, so now, this is, like I said, we're going to lead on with the previous. So this is more the life on tour. So here I'm going to ask, you know, I want to see what the real side of being on Sunshine Tour is. Obviously, I'm trying to make it myself. So, you know, this is one thing for me, but it's also for my subscribers and viewers to know what it's really like here in South Africa.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's something you think that most people don't see about the life on Sunshine Tour? You know, what's like, if you can give me like one or two things, what do you think it is that most people won't see as to the behind the scenes stuff?
I would say, like, there's a lot of work that goes into playing good rounds or just playing on tour. I think a lot of people just think you pitch up and, you know, you hit the ball and all that. But, you know, I've seen how hard, you know, most of the guys work. You know, like, you'll have guys that are out there till the sun comes down. And then, you know, I think the work ethic is very underrated.
Okay.
I think it's probably, you have one of the hardest, like, it's one of the hardest tours in the world, I'd say.
Yeah, it is very competitive. I know from when I used to caddy there, it was very competitive.
Yeah, so what happens is that, like, a lot of the guys that play here are, like, good enough to win. So it's always just very competitive day in, day out. So if you're not putting in the work, then you're not really going to get too far. So I would say, yeah, the most overlooked or underlooked part is the work ethic of players on tour.
I like that. Second bit here in this section, how do you handle your financial side, you know, when it comes to travel, entry fees, you know, sponsorships, all of the other things, even the background stuff? So I know we discussed a little bit earlier off camera, you said you're an ambassador here at the club, so I assume obviously your practice and your golf and all of that here is free.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you travel and all of that, and also sort of what are the fees that come with it? So when you're on Sunshine Tour, you know, what's your membership, what's your basic average, your, you know, your basic entry fee and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they always say as you go up in the ranks, it gets a bit cheaper actually, which is weird how that works out, because I think, for our entry fees we pay like 500 Rand as well. And then,
just as a reference, the Bushveld tour as a normal person is about 2 grand.
Yeah, so it's a very
2,000 Rand. So 500 Rand, I would love to be paying that, right?
Yeah, but obviously with the 500 Rand still comes other costs now.
Yeah.
So, like, it's compulsory to have a caddy, so that will set you back on average maybe from 3,000 to 4,000 a week. And then there's also yardage books you need to buy.
Yeah. I saw you did have one. Maybe we'll look at it a little later on as to when we look at how you prep and perform and stuff.
Yeah.
You can have a little show for us.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah. So there's yardage books, and then
those
there's
are what, $400?
yeah. So yardage books are 400 rand. So that's just for normal events, and then
Yeah.
when
And
it
then
becomes
for you, I mean, when I caddied, I had a separate deal with my player, and that was because it was more full time. But do you buy 2 books, one for yourself and one for your caddy, or do you prefer to just buy one and stick with one? Or?
So I just stick with one. I
Okay.
usually do most of the work numbers and
Okay.
stuff myself, because I think it just paints a better picture on the shot I'm trying to execute at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm the same when it comes to working out everything myself. I like that.
Yeah, so yardage books, and then there's food that comes into,
Traveling 5-7 days a week.
Yeah, and then also accommodation. So I think what helps with that is that I have a group that I travel with. So it's usually the 4 of us
Okay.
that travel to wherever the tournament is outside of Joburg or Pretoria.
Yeah.
So that kind of just helps with costs as well for everyone involved.
And obviously you travel in this group. Do you think a lot of the players on tour travel in groups, or is it more the guys travel individually? What would you say as to, if you were to guess, like half and half, which is more? Would you say more travel in groups or more in?
I would say it's like very half and half.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of cliques in the group on tour.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are either traveling in a group, or they might come out with their girlfriend or wives.
Okay.
Like they get a family outing as
Okay,
well.
yeah.
So a lot of people travel in groups from what I've seen.
Okay. I'd have to assume that's all just to cut costs and
Yeah,
make
at the
it
end
a
of
bit
the
cheaper
day.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because I mean, my first couple of years I was traveling by myself, and so that was still like very pricey.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so I think if you can manage to find, even just sharing with one other person, you're already splitting the costs quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay, and then just your sponsorship side, how do you work around that? Do you go out looking for sponsors? Do you have sponsors? I know there's deals with Sunshine Tour. What sort of sponsors do you get through that?
So Titleist is one of the main sponsors on tour. They help with range balls at every event, as well as a bit of product for the tournaments. So that involves golf balls, gloves, and then sometimes maybe caps. So, but everyone's got a different contract as well. It's all based on player performance. So some guys have a full contract with them. Some guys maybe have a shoe, glove, and ball contract, and then some guys don't have a contract, but because they are assisting the tour, they'll still be able to get golf balls and gloves for free at the end of the day. So it's a big help, I think, for players that are just getting onto tour or that don't have sponsors. So for me, I get assistance from Titleist, so I'm very grateful to them for that. And then on the financial side, I just kind of been doing it myself at the end of the day.
That's got to be quite difficult.
It's very difficult. So I am, sometimes my parents would help out from time to time, but I try not to go down that avenue. Try to be as independent as I can. And then I am part of another group called PGCA. That kind of it's like 12 of us put money into this group. And then you put a percentage of your earnings into it, and then almost every week they help you out with a bit of money that you might need for assistance for something and stuff like that. So that's been quite a lot of help at the end of the day. But it's a tough thing with sponsorship in South Africa, I'd say.
It is.
I'm still kind of trying to understand I think you do need to approach people, because otherwise they won't know at the end of the day. So if you don't try, answer's always going to be no. So I mean, I've down the years tried to get some sponsorship, but obviously still going to keep trying. I think at the end of the day, if you play well or if you play better,
Yes.
that becomes
It
a
does
lot
make
easier.
it a touch easier.
Yeah.
I will say, I really liked what you said there. There's most people, they're too scared to ask, out of fear of getting a bad answer. But like you said, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So
Yeah.
that's something that's quite nice to look at. And I mean, you mentioned it, this next question, you mentioned something about it earlier. But I wanted to ask, how do you mentally bounce back? Like, say you have a week where you miscut, you felt like you were playing good golf, but unfortunately it just wasn't your week.
Yeah.
How do you bounce back? You've got to go, you finished now on Friday, you haven't made the cut, you're not happy, you've got to bounce back. By Monday, you're at a new course, you're starting all over again. How do you balance that and how do you bounce back?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing you need to do, like after missing cut, is really just shut off from golf on that day. There's nothing you can do. You can't rewrite the past. So
Yeah.
what's done is done. So kind of just do what you need to do to shut down, whether that's go to gym and punch it out on the boxing bag, or go see your friends or watch a movie or something.
Yeah.
Whatever
Just
gets
something
you.
that takes your mind off it.
Yeah,
Okay.
anything that's not golf related, I would say, is the biggest thing. And then you'll come back the following day. So yeah, after you've shut down and all that and you're calmer, then you can start reassessing. Okay, you did 1, 2, and 3 well, and then you did also 1, 2, and 3 was bad, or you struggled with it.
So it's just
and then,
you sort of evaluating what happened, looking at where the goods and the bads were.
yeah, because I think
Trying to learn.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing a lot of guys do is they focus so much on the bad that they
Yeah.
forget what they did well that week.
Yes, yeah.
And so, I mentioned why like people stay in slumps for longer than they do is because they're so fixated on the bad stuff where they don't actually look at the good stuff that they're doing. So I think if you can have that shift of, okay, these were the good things. Obviously, yes, there are still like not so good things that you need to work on.
Yeah.
But as long as there are good things, then I think that's what can motivate you to get out of bed and go and try again and start the new week. Because at the end of the day, like, you're not always gonna win. You're not always gonna make the cut.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, you say you're not always going to. When we look at Tiger's record,
Yeah.
I think, he's won pretty much the most out of anyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at his record. I think he won 22% of the time. And I
Yeah.
mean,
And
that's someone who
that's
dominated
dominated.
golf for years. So,
Yeah.
like
So-
you said, you're not going to win everyone.
Exactly.
In fact, 90% of the time you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Golf is that type of game.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can measure what a win looks like to you, so
Yeah.
let's say, okay, my goal for today is to hit all the fairways, or
Yeah.
hit all the greens, or have under 30 putts,
Yeah.
or try keep doubles off my scorecard
Yeah.
and keep it to bogeys at like max.
Now you're making me feel good because in my last tournament, my goal was to hit every green.
Yeah,
And I mean, I got really close. I think I missed one green, but it's quite cool to hear that that's what you say because
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to take a break? Okay, so we've spoken about this a little bit. Sort of, what's one practice routine or a habit that made a big difference in your game?
I think playing more than being on the driving range.
Okay.
I would say, unless you like really working on something, I think the best habit or practice that you can get is just playing on the golf course.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just, if I could say it acclimatizes you better.
Yeah, you learn to play more than you do just learn to hit a golf shot. Right?
Yeah. So I mean, because you're not going to have a perfect lie all the time,
Yeah.
like you're doing on the driving range
Yeah.
and all that. So at least you're able to play the shots that you require on the golf course, and then when it comes to a tournament, you're not too lost. You know exactly how to play the shots.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a big help. I would say.
Okay. And then you mentioned a little bit earlier on how you gained your card through being in the top part of the IGT Order of Merit. So you have played under pressure. So I want to know, how do you deal with pressure, especially when you're in contention?
Yeah, so luckily been fortunate enough to be in contention at a Big Easy a few weeks ago at Reading, finished
Yeah.
third. But that was a 2 round tournament, so
Yeah.
I think a bit
It was 2 rounds because of the rain.
Yeah.
We actually played the day before. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I think a better example would be I played at Killarney as well, like middle of the year, so I was in contention there. So I would say it's very important just to stay within yourself.
Yeah.
I think try not to do anything different, because the golf that you've been playing has gotten you to be in
Yeah.
contention. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to just sticking to your process. So, just sticking to hitting a good golf shot and kind of, I would say, assessing the situation better.
Yeah.
So let's say, like a hole might have out of bounds left, but it has it right or whatever. So
Yeah.
in terms of the good play to do is going more towards the right side, because then at least if it does go in the hazard, you're going to give up one shot, as opposed to if it goes out of bounds, now
Yeah.
you're playing 3 off the tee.
Yes.
So at least, you're kind of thinking a bit better that way. And then from there, you can now look at a flag, and if it's a good number for you, then maybe it's a back left flag, so you play like middle of the green or
Yeah.
middle right, just to give yourself a chance to putt. Because I think the biggest thing for me that I've noticed is that as long as you just give yourself chances at the end of the day, so just hitting the green, you always have a chance to make a birdie at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Whereas if you keep going for flags, yeah, you might hit out of 5, you might maybe hit 2 that are good, but then you bring so much more danger into play by going for dangerous flags, because then that brings in now, a bogey or a double at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So yeah, it's just kind of sticking to your process, I would say, is the big thing, and yeah, just playing smart golf at the end of the day.
I like that. Okay. Just before our last question in a section, I mentioned that we'd look at it a little bit later, if you wouldn't mind showing us. The yardage books. Obviously, as a general member of a normal club, sometimes you get your like pocket caddies, or
Yeah.
you got the GPS. But what makes it different for the Sunshine Tour and stuff like that?
So there's a lot more detail in our yardage books on tour. It literally has almost everything that you see on the hole is
Yeah.
like different distances from different tee boxes. So
Yes.
it's the exact number to what you need to hit to get to there.
Yeah.
So let's say there's a tree that's on the fairway or something that's like,
Yeah.
it'll tell you that it's 220 or whatever. So then at least okay, if I hit something 20 meters short of that or 20 meters over it, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then also there's a lot of contours on the green where you can see, okay, there's a slope on this green.
Yeah.
And then it's going maybe like from back to front, or it's going from front to back. And then, they've labeled bunkers around as well. So
Yeah.
they also give you numbers where it's this much to carry the bunker
Yeah.
on that green. So it might be 9 meters
Yeah.
past the bunker. Then it opens up a bit. And so it just paints a better visual, I would say, at the end of the day. And you're able to be a bit more confident with your numbers going and playing the hole.
I'm happy with that. I like that. And then final question of this performance and mindset sort of section: what separates guys who make it from those who don't? I know it's a tough question.
It is a tough one.
Um,
I don't think there's one exact answer.
Well, I'd love to hear what your thought would be as to
I think
that.
so. From what I've seen, I would say you just need to have the fight to do it at the end of the day. I've seen so many people that are super talented, but they give up too easily, or
Yeah.
they give up too quickly. So they don't want to go through the tough times and all
Yeah.
that. It kind of just, they want things to be handed to them, or it should be easy for them at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, golf doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you've got to make it. You've got to work for it. if you
Yeah,
want
so
to.
I think if you just have the fight to want to do better and play better and put in the work, then I think that's what separates people from making it versus people that don't make it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I mean, I'm 30 years old now, so like, I've gone through that stage of, seeing what it takes and also understanding, okay, like you need to go about it this way at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
like I've seen the younger guys coming up now at the academy that are playing like for Golf RSA and all that.
Yeah,
So
the likes of Shaw and
like
those
Shaw,
guys, yeah.
Dion, those guys, they really love golf, but they also really want to like they put in the work. They really
Yeah.
want to actually put in the work and get better. So I think as a result, you see those guys that are wanting to put in the work, and the results do follow eventually. Like
Yeah.
it might not be as quick as you wanted, but it
Yeah.
will come somewhere down the line. So I think, yeah, if you just keep fighting at the end of the day, then I think you'll make it at the end of the day.
I like it. Cool. This is, if you've got any advice for aspiring pros and obviously myself as well, on my journey, I've got a few questions for that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone trying to make it onto tour?
I would say advice. Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
I would say is the number one thing. I would say, I think a lot of people, I mean, you look at like golf is getting a lot younger with guys making it. So you look at Aldrich.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
19
now,
years old and he's winning on the PGA Tour
and all that.
stuff
You
like
get you get a Jaden Shaper and a few other guys. Like,
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are getting a lot of pressure from like social media when they see this and all that,
Yeah.
and how, I think at the end of the day you need to understand that your journey is your journey.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it may take you quicker, like an Aldrich or
Yeah.
Jaden, whatever, and it might take you some time as well.
Yeah.
But
You've
at-
got to
but at
write
the-
your own story.
yeah,
at
you
your
gotta
own
write
pace.
your own story at the end of the day. So I would just say to aspiring golfers or people that are trying to make it on tour is that stick to your story and put in the work that you can put in.
Yeah.
And then like I think if you can just do those two simple things, it sounds simple, but if you can just do those two things, I think eventually you'll get to where you want to be. It's just everyone's got a different timeline, and
Yeah.
but like you just have to put in the work, and eventually like your results and where you want to be will come.
Yeah, I like that. Then if you could go back to when you started, what would you do differently?
I had a chance to go to America after matric.
Yeah.
So I think I probably would have gone to study that side and just kind of experience college golf that side.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
I think, you learn a lot about yourself and your golf in a different environment. I think that's the only thing I would do differently. Because I actually went to go study Tux
Yeah.
after matric, and then I didn't actually do golf for like a couple of years while I was studying because
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure I wanted to do golf as a career, so I just tried out different stuff. But eventually, towards the end of my studies, I just decided, let
This
me
is
give
what
golf
you want to do.
a go. Yeah, this is what I want to do, and then I think that's also tying into the advice part of
Yeah.
golfers, that it also just needs to be something you want to do. At the end of
Don't
the
let
day.
it be forced upon you.
It mustn't be forced upon you by your parents or someone. It must just be your decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like that. And then this one's more towards all level of golfers. What's one skill or mindset you think up and coming golfers underrate or need? Let me say that. Yeah.
I would say definitely mental side. So
Mental.
seeing a psychologist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people have a lot of talent. I
Yeah.
think like the way the game's going with golf now is that you got to hit it over 300, and a lot of guys do that and all that. But I think a lot of people don't understand themselves at the end of the day. So if something goes wrong for them on the golf course, they don't know exactly how to like bounce back or
Yeah.
like to fix it on the spot.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just get lost in limbo and all that. So I think a mental part coming up. I think the earlier you do it, the better your game's going to be, and just you as a person in general, I
Yeah.
think you'll be better off it.
I like that. And then last one, how important has networking, sponsorships, or self-branding been for your career?
I think it's been quite important because at the end of the day, I always say like golf is like a business.
Yes.
You are the business. So I take it as like, you're an entrepreneur. So what you put in is what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to, highlight yourself in a professional manner, so that when people see you, it's like, oh, okay, like this is someone that maybe we can sponsor or get to know. So like I've had the opportunities of like commentating for SuperSport.
Yeah.
I get a few interviews from time to time, just because of like how I'm able to speak to people.
Yes,
And like how I like network around and all
Shock,
that.
he's doing an interview with me.
I'm doing an interview right now. So I would say it's very important just to, I don't want to say back yourself, but I just wanted to say like present yourself in a very good image.
Yeah.
So like, dress well, speak well, and yeah, just kind of have the values of what golf is, of just being like, classy.
Yeah.
And like, being respectful at the end of the day.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Like if you can be respectful towards other people, you'll also get that respect. And
Yeah.
I think more people want to be around you as a result of it. So yeah.
I love that. Awesome.
Sweet.
Okay, Thabi, welcome to the quick 5 questions. I've got 5 questions for you. Short answers. Let's see.
All right.
Cool. What's your favorite course on the Sunshine Tour?
Favorite course, I would say probably Zabula.
Zabula.
Yeah.
Lovely track that.
Yeah.
What's your best shot you've ever hit in competition?
Best shot. Might be taking me back to my junior days.
That's fine.
So I think we were playing actually Silver
Yeah.
at our uni.
Yeah.
So it was raining. Hole in one on 16.
That's a good old hole in one.
Yeah. So front flag, pitch just passed and then spun. Perfect hole in one.
That's nice. Oh. What would be your dream 4-ball?
My dream 4-ball. So I got to have Tiger Woods in there.
Tiger. Okay.
Rory McIlroy.
Rory, yeah.
Myself, of course.
Hope so.
My dad, yeah.
Your dad.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a good group.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pre-round meal or your go-to?
I think my go-to. So if it's in the morning, like morning tea time,
Yeah.
just a bit of granola and yogurt together. But if it's in like an afternoon tea time, then just a simple chicken. Yeah.
Chicken, I love that.
Yeah.
If you weren't a golfer, what would you be?
Probably a professional soccer player. I would say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No brainer.
Favorite club?
Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know I get a lot of stick for it, but
I'm sure in the comments you'll get a few.
no,
as
of
well,
course.
but
Yeah, top of the league.
But yeah, awesome.
Sweet.
So, thank you very much.
Thanks so
I
much.
really appreciate it,
No
and
problem.
I hope that everyone watching gets to learn a few things from you. And
Yeah.
hopefully, go follow him on his platforms. I'll put them down in the comments below.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
Cheers.